No, okay, then I would say, it's 33. We can start. We gave, some time to people to join. So let me start. So a few forwards, like to everybody. So first of all, good evening. Special welcome to our, returning attendees, and a warm welcome to, our first time attendees. Big thanks to our panelists today. And so we are having this, connectivity update in Barcelona session, which is our last event of the year. And essentially, it was a very interesting year for us here at NetBCN, a little bit like for everybody, because we had to experience, we were used to, in-person meetings, and then we, had to familiarize and experience a little bit how to deliver interesting content, all the time, now not in person, but online. Right, so we were used to do a little bit of workshops, a little bit of fun. It was very important, the in-person part, the part after the meeting and things like that. My takeaway so far is that it was quite, successful. I'm happy. Still, there is a lot of, experience to make and road to do, but, I'm super duper happy of where we are, and thanks, everybody for returning. And moment to say also thank you to Glovo, which is incarnated today by Adam, which is a little bit behind the curtains. But they have been fantastic, offering this Zoom webinar platform that, kept us running for free, for all this year. And so with all of this said, before, allowing our honorable, panelists to introduce themselves, few rules. Like we have, we are all muted by default. You can always ask any questions anytime. Like there is a chat box, at the bottom. You can type your question there in whatever language you want. Catalan, let's restrict to 3 languages, to Catalan, to Spanish, and to English. And then I will make sure, to relay the question to our panelists. And, we will have some buffer time at the end. So after, I very selfishly, I will ask first myself questions to our panelists. I reserve myself that honor. And then, we will have some time later. So if you want, you can ask them in English at the end. And with that done, let's say 2 words on NetBCN. And so we clear that out of the way. We are the internet community in Barcelona. We are fun, inclusive, and informal. So, please keep, attending our events. This event will be recorded, so we have some participants, but then, everybody will be able to check it out later. And with also this said, let me leave the floor to our, panelists. So maybe they can, introduce themselves and, say a few words about their organizations. And so let me start maybe with Norman. Norman, do you want to introduce yourself?
Okay, thank you very much, Paulo, for the invitation. My name is Norman Albi. I am the CEO of Barcelona CLS, which is the cable landing station that we're building in Barcelona, that is part of the Afrix Telecom Group, which is a telecom operator, headquarters in Barcelona with licensing in Spain, but we don't operate in Spain. We operate in 15 alternative countries, mainly in Africa. That's where we are specialized. We are quite active in the internet community, not in Barcelona. We are not members of Camnix or any peering point of Spain yet. We are members of DECIX in Frankfurt, of Links in London, of FranceIX in France. We are members of the Nigerian Lagos Internet Change, of the Johannesburg, Nat Africa Internet Exchange, the Djibouti Internet Exchange, and then of the Ashburn, also in the US Internet Exchange. In all these places, we have telecommunications license and we are an active operator, besides of some African additional countries that they are not so developed on IX. It's a pleasure to be here, and maybe we can explain a little bit more during the chat or the conversation today.
Please,
Paulo?
absolutely, absolutely. Yes. Thank you, Norman. And Maria Isabel, do you want to introduce yourself? 1 second.
Yes, thank you. Well, first of all, thanks for the invitation, Paolo, to
Yeah.
this discussion today, and thanks for being an active part of the network community in Barcelona. I am Maria Isabel Gandia. I am the communications manager at CSUC, which is a consortium of universities, and we give services to universities in Catalonia, and we manage the research and education network and also the internet exchange. I'm the communications manager, but meaning network. I mean, I am a network engineer, as Norman already mentioned before. I'm a telecom engineer from the UPC. I'm quite active of the internet community here. In this case, I am a regular organizer of the SNOC meetings. We have also organized at the CSUC NetBCN meetings. I am a member of the recently created SNOC Association, which was not an association before. And I have been a member of the RIPE Program Committee for 4 years now, a vice chair in the last 2. And I am a member of the board of directors of the EuroIX Association right now. So this is more or less what we do, trying to foster the community.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Maria Isabel. And Teresa, how about yourself?
Yes, first, thank you so much, Paulo. Again, I really appreciate your invite, and also for kudos to you and the whole team behind the NetBCN. I always love this kind of events to supporting the community. Well, as I think most of you knows, I'm Teresa Bovis. I'm working for DICIX. I support the regional activities and operations of DICIX in Southern Europe. Southern Europe, meaning those countries, including Spain, France, which is, of course, our presence in Marseille, in Lisbon, and in Palermo. And then, of course, recently now we will have our presence in Barcelona. So DICIX, as everybody knows, is a global IX operator, which has presence, physical presence in 25 data centers in 13 countries. We have presence in Europe, of course. Our flagship is in Frankfurt. We have presence in North America, Europe, and in Asia, and also in Dubai. So these are all what the activities of DICIX are doing. So we can probably explain more on what is new about DICIX. And of course, DICIX is also supporting different community events like NetBCN. You know, we're also active members of the EuroIX, RIPE, and together, I think with Maria Isabel, some of my colleagues are actually collaborating with some of all these regional events as well for the improvement of the internet per se. So yeah, and I'm glad to be here in this, last year's events for this year.
Fantastic. Thank you. So let's say, what is the motivation of this session? Why I invited you guys to chat a little bit tonight, right? Because I've been tracking down the situation, connectivity situation, let's say in Barcelona for a few years now, tracking down because I've been around in the city and things like that. And if you pass me the term like the situation in Barcelona has been stable for many years, right? And then at some point, I start checking my, LinkedIn feed, and I start to see, that there is, a cable landing station. I see that D6 is coming to town and things like that, right? So at some point, I was, really thinking, why Barcelona? What's going on here, guys, right? And so, that's why, we decided to organize this session and a little bit, to check with the main actors, of the connectivity in, the existing and new actors, in Barcelona, what is going on here. So I would like to start, with the some questions, right? So since there is a different background between the three organizations, I would like to ask, different questions to each of you before, maybe asking you a more, questions about Barcelona and, what's going on with the government here. I mean, what is their position with, all of this connectivity and Barcelona and the Mediterranean and things like that. So Norman, let me ask you, like, I am, I hear the word cable, right? So for me, a cable is a pipe, like there is one end and there is Barcelona. And I wonder who is on the other, side of the hook, who is picking up the phone on the other side.
Okay, the first one is that what we provide is an open access landing station. Okay,
Right.
so we have an initial capacity for 8 cables, and today there is a main differential factor from what was happening until 5 years ago, 6 years ago, is that 6 years ago we had a submarine cable which had 1 fiber pairs or 2 fiber pairs, and they were landing in multiple places. But there, and that fiber pair was used by many people. Okay, so had some kind of limited capacity. Today, the cables, they are having 16 fiber pairs, 20 fiber pairs. So what happens is that who's in the other end? So for each submarine cables, we have 20 different guys in the other end. Okay, so and then if we think that we can land 8 cables, so it means that we have 160 different guys in the end. Of course, some of them they will be repeated, but who is going to be in the other end? Some Europeans, we can tell you, some Africans, we'll see, some people from the Middle East. Okay, when, how? I think that this we shall leave it to each one of the cable systems that they will publish, and they will make it public whenever they will be finalizing their projects and landing here. But this is the people who is going to be. Who is coming from is interconnection with data centers, is telecom operators. There is a data that they want to share with you that as an example is that 100% of the North African internet traffic, 100% terminates in Southern Europe today. Right. If we look at the telegeography latest data, we can see that 70% of the sub-Saharan African traffic terminates in Southern Europe, plus UK. Okay, so it means that all this traffic is growing at a 50% per year. So it means that who is going to be ending up in Barcelona? So part of this traffic. So this is the guys who are in the other side.
Oh, I see. Okay. Fantastic. That's great to hear. That's great to hear. And so then let me go to Teresa. So Teresa, let me ask you, like, why Barcelona, like of the whole world? And like you were mentioning yourself, like you guys are in Palermo, in Marseille and whatever. So what is special about Barcelona? Why you are coming here?
Well, the people itself, right? So I couldn't escape that. So Barcelona is a beautiful city and the people itself. But of course, from when it goes to every cities where we should open a pub or we should open our presence, we would actually do a little bit of a research and what is the beauty of that. And you've asked the right question, Paulo. Where it comes into the eyeball, demography wise, Barcelona or the Catalonia itself has 5 million population, and that alone would warrant for a local ecosystem to build, and that would alone would be an interest for an IX operator ourselves to actually why it is needed to have an internet exchange into Barcelona. So demography wise, okay, the 5 million population is there, as an IX operator, that means to us an eyeball already. And prior to being in Spain 5 years ago, we believe that, that there's still a lot of traffic to be developed or to the ecosystem to be developed, because when we came into Spain, there were like, according to roughly 600 registered ASNs. But where are they, right? If we look into our growth in Madrid, it's hardly not all is covered in terms of the ASNs itself. So we also in terms of what do you call this? The traffic within Spain, it's all always in Madrid. So it's all concentrated in Madrid. So as an operator, we wanted to have a distributed platform to actually be always closer to the end user itself. And of course, within the Catalonia, having 5 million users in the neighborhood cities, it still is, you know, the beauty of Barcelona to be the second IX that we have in Spain, aside from its geographical strategic location, of course, being the twin of Marseille. You know, most of the subsea cables, as what Norman has already mentioned, right, coming from Africa, the west of Africa. Barcelona would actually be one of the strategic geographical locations where another hub for submarine cables are needs to be located. So that's the beauty of it. And also within the economic perspective per se, Barcelona has actually have a good reputations in terms of the economic situation itself within Europe. There was a study that says Barcelona is actually the #1 open laboratories for 5G. So it has been #1. It was also been said by the European Union that it is actually the #2 city, smart cities in the world, according to Juniper study in 2017. And also Barcelona also is actually garnered to be the, I think, #2 in terms of the AI readiness index. So what am I saying all of this? So these are all actually facts about for more international companies to actually consider Barcelona to be at par to the likes of the Amsterdam of the world or the Parises of the world, because there is really something that the city has to boast in terms, as I said, in terms of the geographical location itself in the subsea cable. So those are the top reasons why Barcelona is very interesting for us. And another one is, of course, according to the Financial Times, this is also the best city where most of the investments are going to happen, simply because as well, there are, you know, ICT universities is actually all over within Barcelona. In the last 2 years, they said that most of the ICT graduates are actually coming in Barcelona, which actually warrants most of the entrepreneurs and also most of the international technological companies in the world would support most of this new startups in Barcelona. So that alone would actually be an interesting reason for DICIX to be there, to flourish and help the growth of the ecosystem and to support the rapid and radical growth of the internet traffic. That makes sense? So I think that was it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have just a very brief follow-up question. Like, since you mentioned that, you guys are also in Madrid and now in Barcelona, like, so is that like for diversity, or like the IXPs are going to be interconnected? So in other words, is DICIX really a IXP operator today, or it's a carrier or a hybrid? Like, are you transporting geographically traffic or not?
Yes, of course. We will be transporting geographically some traffic. As you know, the latest subsea, it's like an independent IX on its own. It has a brain.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be like, it's like going to be like, what do you call this? A sub of Madrid or whatever. It will, the difference of that is actually it has a brain on its own that would actually support the local community or the local ISPs within the neighboring cities of Catalonia itself. And it will work as a twin of Marseille in the sense that it's actually in the Mediterranean. The new subsea cable will actually be going to be in Barcelona. Of course, not going to happen overnight. This is actually the job of myself and the Marias of the world and the Normans of the world to actually bring all of this into Barcelona so that Spain or Barcelona itself will be at par to the likes of the flags, like the Frankfurt, the Londons, and the Amsterdam of the world, owing to all the characteristics that I've mentioned. That would actually bring a diversity and a reliability into the whole of the internet or to the data traffic that we are all experiencing now and probably after the new normal, it's not just going to be the new normal for all of us, but a better normal. And then Barcelona is ready to face that because we have all of this infrastructure already in
I
place.
see. Cool, cool, cool. Very nice. Thank you for the explanation. And Maria Isabel, then, Catmix is, very well established, IXP and community and in Barcelona, uh, OTTs are connected there, there is plenty of traffic and things like that. So how do you see, like, do you see a potential interplay, with the cable landing station, with this, new renewed interest, in Barcelona?
Of course, sure. Having a landing station in Barcelona, I think it's a great opportunity for the whole city, for the whole Catalonia. It's a huge opportunity to attract companies, to attract stakeholders that can play here, and also interconnection. So we know that some companies that are going to be able to reach Barcelona through these cables are not currently here. We want to have them to be part of the ecosystem, create synergies with them, with the communities. So we make all together, we can make this ecosystem stronger. So of course, it is an opportunity, and we have to improve all these kind of opportunities. I think that Catalonia is in the right direction for that.
Mhm. Great, 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 fantastic. And this is a great actually segue in the next question that now I would make to all of you, which is like, I always, we started already answering this question. So, I'm wondering if there is any extra point to be made or not. Like, but what I was thinking is precisely this, that, I saw Barcelona, at least myself, maybe it was wrong perception, but as let's say the capital of Catalonia, so it's like as the hub for the regional traffic, and that was its purpose, right? So yeah, definitely everybody has to have, for demographics, you have to have a pop in Barcelona, a point of presence, every carrier, like, and things like that. But in the end, it was to serve the regional community. So what I was wondering is precisely this, whether, what is going on over here will put now Barcelona more under the international spotlight, which is a new role for the city and things like that. And then I would say, like, and the answer, I think, is yes, because you started, all of you, touching the points on that. But then I have a second part to this question, which is like, let's assume that is the case. Like, does all of this happen, by itself, like by private initiative, like, you decide that, to do something, or the local government has a role into this? And is the local government, ready to play a part into this? Do they understand, what is connectivity, what is going on here, and all the potential, positive consequences, on the internet sector in Barcelona? It's open question for the three of you. Feel free, please.
If you want that I follow up.
Please.
I would say that the Catalan government is working very well, and is working hard to foster all that has to do with the telecommunications and the technology in Catalonia. They have been working for many years to bring fiber to every corner of Catalonia, having like a kind of fiber neutral operations that can make any operator that wants to bring a service to any corner in Catalonia ready for that. Kilometers of fiber internally, and then externally, they have been fostering this collaboration, this Barcelona landing station. As we would say in Catalan, or maybe in Spanish, is per terra mar y aire. No? But in Catalonia, we have the fiber in the land, the sea for the subsea cable, and also the satellite collaborations that have been started recently, the space hub. So I think that there is a lot to do. Also the 5G, fostering all this hub for 5G. I think that we are also in the right direction, and they are supporting all the initiatives. I mean, for instance, the Secretary of Telecommunications was in our strategic commission saying they will support us, but they know they also support other initiatives, and it's good to have all the possible initiatives for the strength of the community and for the strength of the internet in Catalonia. So I would say they are working very well for that.
Cool. Nice, nice. Norman, you are maybe also in first person involved. Would you have any comment on this? Like,
Well, I would say that let's look at the way that we are landing operator, okay, but also we are a telecom operator that we interconnect with many IX, okay. So, for example, when we have traffic and we arrive into Marseille, or we arrive into South Africa, or we arrive into Nigeria, or to Portugal, because we're members of the IX in Portugal too, what we want is that we want to offload this traffic as soon as possible, because taking somewhere else is very expensive, okay? And because taking somewhere else means latency, it's cost and latency and it's bad service, okay? So when the people will get to Barcelona, what they want is they want to have a good service in Barcelona. They want to reach the main content providers. They want to reach the main networks. And finally, they can offload through the different IX, the different content providers, as much traffic as possible. This is the success of Barcelona. Okay, so I think that we shouldn't center so much in the connectivity space, because the private sector takes part of the IX and the connectivity space. What is important is that we have the right content people here, because it's where our customers, they want to go. Okay, so finally, the people, they want to get as soon as possible to their final destinations with the lowest latencies, with the best service possible. And whatever can be done to improve that from the private initiative, from the public initiative, of course, we are knowledgeable that on the public initiative the government is working very hard on this. It will be very, very welcome, because this will contribute quite a lot to the success of Barcelona as a pinning place. And as a terminating, or at least transiting traffic place, okay? So for us, this is the important part. We will take care from the private sector for the subsea systems, we'll take care for the landings, but also we need the other half of the orange to be present in the system.
Right. And I was also thinking, like, it's not just, that you can, land a cable, just like that, right? So in a country, like the CEO or whatever, it's owned by, a country. So there must be that other part of the orange, like you are saying, right? Or I'm mistaken there.
Well, you have to process when you land in one cable, and we did it in 2018. We did process all the authorizations, right, which they took 2 years. It's quite similar in other places in the world. Okay, well, there are some places where it's faster, but normally 1 to 2 years is an average of just to proceed to all the environmental permitting. There is public hearings, so it's quite complex. All the governments, they play a role on this everywhere, but finally, if the things are, if there is a wish, if there is a respect and the laws allow it, you are able to land the cable.
Right. Perfect. Very interesting. Teresa, did you have any, interplay with the local government yourself, or that's a totally private initiative? Like, this is coming over here, like you were saying, studying the demographics and that's it.
Yeah, we did have an interplay with the local government as well, which is the Generalitat de Catalunya. I hope I'm saying that properly. This is the Secretary of the Digital Policy, which through Norman, I actually met them as well. So yes, we did. So, but we coming in Barcelona, of course, we are like a private company, right? But
sure.
They did welcome us. So if you actually, we did say to them, what is DICIC? So it's DICIC what we're doing. But we wanted to do what we wanted to achieve. And it actually, they gave their blessings to us in a way, because they have the goal of really flourishing the digitization economy or society of Catalonia. And of course, interconnection platform will be actually an important initiative to be present there to actually get not just the local community itself, but the international community as well. So we get their blessings, and they were happy during the last DICIC summit that we have. The Secretary of General Catalonia Digital Policy did mention on how DICIC could probably would help in really fostering their 5 pillars of objective in the digitization of the Catalonia itself. And of course, our presence there would actually help to attract more international companies to be in Barcelona. And it did help, because now actually when we announced our presence there and the blessings or the welcome of the secretary itself, a lot of companies are already asking me, how is it? How is Barcelona? So they're really looking forward to for DICIC to be there and get connected and start the interconnection interplay. And I hope we could actually, faster to get all those contents to be in Barcelona and start the interconnection already.
I see. Cool. Nice. I have actually, very quick follow-up question for who can answer me. So a city must be ready to play an international role. And, I'm not really, up to date with the latest, like with the neutral data centers and things like that. Is all of that, satisfactory? Is all of that on par with other European interconnection cities like, let's say Amsterdam, Paris, and things like that? Or is Barcelona lagging behind? It's needing something like, would you have any, thoughts on that? It's a little bit my mistake that I didn't invite somebody from the data center. Maybe for a next session that could be done.
I think it's not going to be as the massive one on Paulo, like the one in Frankfurt, right? Or the one in Paris. But Barcelona is actually, as I said, garnering now the center stage. We do have like a data center big already in Barcelona, because we have the Iconic, which is now the Econics. They're actually revamping the whole data center itself. We have Adam. So there's quite a lot of carrier neutral data centers already existing, not as massive per se as compared to the ones in Frankfurt, because this has been there for the last 25 years, right? This has always been the, business-wise, it's always been the financial district within Europe. But as I said, yes, they do have a lot of data center presence, data center carrier neutral providers in Barcelona, and I hope it's going to grow more. There's a lot more data center operators who would see now really the eye of Barcelona, and with the landing stations that Norman is opening up, that would actually get more interest from the international community. And I believe this is not just a landing station that he's trying to promote. He's actually trying to promote this as a quasi landing station data center itself that would actually be readily connected to a submarine cable. Then you don't have really to say, oh, where should I bring this? This is a landing station and this is a data center. So he has like, one fits all, have the landing station and at the same time a data center facility itself, which is supposed to be open. So that's the beauty of it, because it's not an incumbent or it's not a carrier or data center landing station per se. So this is already something that Barcelona would soon be at par in those big cities that we just talked about.
Right. And I tell you also why I was asking this question, because I don't know if my memory serves me well, but I remember the very, very beginning of, Marseille, that at some point, a cable lands in Marseille, and whatever, and then what, right? So you couldn't get IP connectivity in Marseille or anything, right? So I was kind of wondering whether, Barcelona would have the same problem as Marseille at the beginning or not. Because the IP and whatever, the whole ecosystem is already, there is a good ground base on which you can leverage essentially. And I seem to understand that you guys are positive on that.
Yes, sure.
Very much. I'm very much positive about it. So my heart and soul is in the whole of Southern Europe. And I think I'm sorry for speaking so much, but I think this is just something that I also wanted to mention, that we actually, now that Southern Europe is into the center stage, or Barcelona, we're actually learning from the Marseilles of the world, from Frankfurt, Amsterdams of the world. So now actually, how shall I say, Norman is in a better position on how he would position strategically the landing station itself, right? What is actually missing or what is actually not good in all those cities. Now he can actually say, aha, this is an opportunity on what is actually the challenge that we have had in those cities. And now we can actually do it better in Barcelona in order actually to speed up the growth of or to support the growing data traffic in Barcelona itself. So I think we're in all a better position on how we could help Barcelona to really propel the success that it should have been there for a long time ago.
Nice. Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. Cool. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I have, before, another question that I have for you guys, very small, interlude, let's say. Maria Isabel, you mentioned before, like the water, ground, and air. Like, and I also, did the track down still on my wonderful LinkedIn feed, that there is this, effort or involvement from about a low Earth orbit, from the Generalitat and things like that. And, that made actually myself and Christian very curious, about it. And we were thinking that, as we are having, a subsea and terrestrial maybe session today, I mean, we should have another one with precisely about air and Catalonia. I mean, it seems just very interesting, and I'm very thrilled by all of this that I'm reading about it. Nice. So my other, I would have another question. I would say, I would divide it in two parts. I do part number one, which is, a little bit for you all, and the other is then specific to Norman. Like, it's about, Barcelona, the Mediterranean, and competition, right? So I come from that, I am a software, partly I am a software engineer, I'm many things, but also a software engineer. And I always know that there is some sort of sweet spot, right? So when you have an implementation of something, like, it's always good not to have only one implementation, because you can have a bug, right? But it's good to have, two or maybe three. So that is the sweet spot. Then after that, everything becomes crowded, right? So there is maybe too much offer for what is demand, there is a fragmentation happens, and everybody suffers, right? And so I was wondering, so where is the Mediterranean at the moment? Like, we mentioned, Palermo, Marseille, we mentioned Barcelona. I heard rumors about Genoa as well. So, is the Mediterranean crowded? It's going to be crowded. Are we in the sweet spot? It is underserved. So where are we?
Well, I think there's space to grow. Of course, there is diversity, and diversity is always good. You don't want to have everything in the same city, or so. If there is diversity for the cities, this is good for the cities and for the citizens, which is what we want to foster.
But do you not see that if there is too much diversity, then there is the risk of fragmentation? Then somebody suffers, or you don't see that can happen?
Not yet. I think there's a lot of space.
Okay. So
if you look at the growth of 40-50% per year, I don't think nobody will suffer, because the growth of the internet is crazy. So what we see today, well, Marseille, I think, has 14, 15, 16 cables. We have a bunch of cables coming into Marseille still, okay, as a main port, and this is going to continue. This is not going to stop. The only thing is that today we see alternatives, because people is looking to land in more places than a single landing. Okay, it's part of the reliability or the diversity. Okay, so we it's not that nothing against Marseille, because some of these cable systems also will be connecting the main landing sites of the net. So today we have Marseille as the main, and then we have another one, which is Genova. Well, Genova is growing a lot. I would say it's the take on the second lead, okay, after Marseille. Let's say Barcelona will be, for the moment, taking the third one. But Marseille, Genova is the second one. In fact, to Africa is landing in Genova as the first landing in Europe. Then we have another quite large system that is going to come from Middle East that is going to land full in Marseille, in Genova, and then will be extended to Marseille too. So what we see is that there is three alternatives in the net: Genova, Marseille, and Barcelona. Palermo was quite a good alternative. Sicily, Mazzara del Vallo, Palermo, they were quite a good initiative. Now the systems are coming in more into the continent, let's say, into the mainland. And within this strategy, we will see that everything becomes a mesh network, okay? Still, Marseille is going to be leading the net for a long time, okay? We see a lot of systems still that are planning Marseille as the only landing in Southern Europe. We see more with diversity. We are going to contribute to this diversity. So it's not going to be one against the other one. If not, all the systems are going to grow in parallel. And then we are going to have, and this is the MET is the first system, it's further to Africa. We're going to have a link between, we're going to have a very strong link between Genova, Marseille, and Barcelona, which is going to be helping a lot and interconnecting the three landings. This is going to happen too. It happens with the first extension of the to Africa, which is the net, interconnecting the three, but probably in the future we will see more systems like this.
Okay, I see. And just, question like, so something lands in Genova, then what is, so in Genova there is no IP, right? So it's then
Milan, yes. In Milan, there is a nice IP, and there is a good extension between Genova. In fact, I think Equinix is building a large data center in Genova, and then from Genova you go to Milan. So so the people who lands in Genova goes to Milan, and then they go up to Central Europe. This is a good route for Central Europe.
Right. I see. And Teresa, and then, small follow-up question for you, because you were the first actually to mention tonight Palermo. So what is the problem with Palermo? Like, so the problem I think is that, you land in Palermo, but then you have to backhaul everything to, I don't know, to Milan, to some other place, right? So it's like you have to get fiber through all of Italy, and then, to get to the continent, like Norman was saying, like to continental Europe, right? So is that the problem? And in that sense, is why, Barcelona, it's better, it's more continental?
No, I think it's because all the IXs that we have in Southern Europe has a different, unique role. So the Marseille IX and Palermo IXs that we have are actually our edge IXs. So it didn't have really, it wasn't intended for a local ecosystem on day one itself. We didn't see it that way. So we see Barcelona to be more of a local IX serving the local community itself, because we do have the eyeballs within the local neighborhood itself. So if you look in Marseille, as what Norman had already explained, it's actually geared for the East and South African continents itself. So in the past, 5 years ago, there was really no IP there. So it's all just transmission, and then they backhaul to the comfort of the world. Now they're actually seeing the change into the as the traffic evolves. So now some of them are putting their IP already, but it wasn't still not. I don't have a local France ISPs there really like that that would plan to do in Barcelona. And it's the same for Palermo. Is an edge IX to the north or to the south of Africa. So it has a specific region or eyeballs it wanted to serve due to the locations of itself. So Barcelona, we see it totally different. As I said, it would be now as a twin of Marseille, aside from serving the local ecosystem itself, and also as what we have heard from Norma. Now we're seeing a parallel into the other side of Mediterranean, all the way. So France, Marseille would actually then go all the way to Lyon, to Bordeaux, and all of them going down to Italy to actually reach the Europe and also meet the other continents or the other ISPs in Marseille. And now, because of the latency of Marseille and Barcelona, we actually wanted them to see those people in Africa, in East Asia, in Latin America. Okay, you're going to be in Marseille. It's actually connected now. You will have a shorter latency to go to Barcelona. And in Barcelona, you also have the Iberian Peninsula local ecosystem, which you, as an engineer, Paulo, you know that most of the contents are interested to see the local eyeballs itself. So we proved that within Spain itself, there is a local ecosystem, and now Barcelona is coming. And as I've mentioned already, a lot of the customers are already asking us, we wanted to go to Barcelona because we do believe that there is an ecosystem there, there is an eyeballs going in there. And you know, the fact of the matter is that Spain, there's only Madrid. So we need to diversify the traffic. You know, if something happened in Marseille, something happened in Madrid, where is the traffic going to be? So now with the 5G coming in, with the evolutions of the new traffic, gone are the days of a single point of failures. You know, we need to have multiple platform in order to actually support every single user, every single citizens of the world, every single internet, to the barrios of Alicante, to the barrios of whatever you could think of. You know, I think everybody deserves to have a good quality experience to the internet, talking to someone in Africa, talking to someone in the provinces or whatever, you know. So this is what the beauty of the internet, and we as an interconnection platform and also landing station provider data center, all of us have actually an obligation to give the better interconnection connectivity to every single user. And that's what the beauty of Barcelona should be, or the uniqueness of Barcelona as part of the new IX.
Cool.
Just let me say that Barcelona existed in the map already before, just to point out that it was not just Madrid before.
Exactly.
It already existed, and it was.
Exactly, but now I think every single international companies in the world should actually put Barcelona in their presentation. It needs to be in their plan, because in the past, you don't see any presentations about Barcelona, right? So in terms of the it's always the flags of the world. But now I think they're gonna have more, I see, it will have more, it will be in the spotlight now that with all, you know, sorry that we have all this pandemic, but now it will actually have more attention to the right people, to the right investments in the world to come and really see the beauty of Barcelona city itself and the promise it offers in terms of infrastructures.
Yes, but I must say that Barcelona was already quite in the spotlight for some technical things for many years. We have been like working in technical things like the Barcelona Mobile World Congress, and it's in the spotlight. It's already in the spotlight.
Indeed,
it's good that it's increasing, and it's good that it's growing, but I think it's not like a corner that was not there before.
No,
yeah,
but
I think it's increasing, as if I may put the right word. Yeah, it's increasing. Yes.
But Maria, I can give you an example, okay? Because I'm a company headquarters in Barcelona, but we don't peer here, okay? Why? Because when we arrive with the connectivity, finally, where are we peering? We are peering in Marseille because our cables, they arrive in Marseille. We're peering in Lisbon because our cables land in Lisbon. We are peering in Paris because it's the extension of the cables that they hit the French coast, La Bretagne. And we are peering in London because it's a major landing for cables. And also we're peering in Frankfurt because whatever we don't peer in all these guys, Frankfurt is big enough to terminate the traffic. So what I mean is that strategically, there was no reason for us to peer in Barcelona. We don't belong to the ecosystem here. Well, we have headquarters here, but we don't have any reason to peer, okay? Now that we will have cables landing, it will make sense because we will have traffic coming in and we will offload, okay? So this is one example that of somebody who was not taking care. I think it's one example of what Teresa says. We didn't take care about what happened because we didn't have any reason to be here. Because why to bring the traffic into Barcelona is expensive. It's better to offload it as soon as possible. And now that we will have traffic coming into Barcelona through the subsea routes, it will make a lot of sense. Well, it will make a lot of sense. No, it's extremely necessary to do it because we will have a need to do it. So this is an example that, okay, Barcelona was doing a lot of things, but in the terms of the international connectivity, it was not a key player. Now, I think we have a window of opportunity to be a key player that we didn't have before.
Yes, and I think it's very important with this Barcelona landing cable landing station that you will have this fiber that will allow you to do these peerings and to do these transit interactions in Barcelona. That's really good.
Yeah, and if I should say something, like I actually agree with all three of you what you just said, because I was working in the interconnection mostly for IP carriers for many years, right? So even before now that I am at NTT, I was at KPN at the end of 2008 to 2009, and indeed Barcelona is it has always been on a network map. It is at NTT. It was back then at KPN. So Barcelona has always been visible and everything, but maybe it was more for reaching out the local communities to serve the local enterprises, because you have branches of other companies of other countries, so you have to have the POP in Barcelona because you have MPLS VPNs to deliver and things like that. So it was two ways, like to serve the the eyeballs, but also for foreign investments in Catalonia that they have a branch over here and things like that. But now we are maybe opening, increasing all of this and adding one new dimension for Barcelona, which is great, Nice. And so I have then, maybe my last question, and it's just a small follow-up for Norman, since he mentioned, Lisbon before. Again, I may be mistaken because I am not expert about subsea cables and things like that. But we met in West Africa. You remember, in Ivory Coast at a peering forum over there, right? And so I always thought that so the Saharan Africa, it's very well served. There has been always Sparkle, with all their initiatives over there. There have been cables and things like that. And I always thought that the other side of Africa, the West Africa, was the juicy part somehow, right? And so I was wondering, is whether, and again, I may be totally mistaken, but is it, Lisbon eating the nicest part of the pie, of African traffic compared to, I don't know, to Barcelona, or not really?
Barcelona is not at this moment in time, is not in anything. Not in it. But let's say Lisbon, I think, has been Lisbon is a very nice hub. We have a license from ANACOM, from the regulator. We are based in Lisbon, and we feel like at home because they have been for more than 1 century in the subsea space. Okay, so submarine cables are part of their blood, and they have had interconnections to the US or to Americas or to Southern or to West and South Africa. Okay, at this moment in time, we have multiple cables landing in Lisbon. We have MainOne, we have WAX, we have ACE, we have SAT3. They are let's say the 4 cables that are servicing the west coast of Africa. All of them, they stop in Lisbon. Okay, some of them they finish, like MainOne, they finish in Lisbon. MainOne, WAX, well, they have an extension in the UK. WAX goes to UK also. Then ACE goes to France, and SAT3 also extends. But let's see that it's the main hub, okay? With London and Lisbon, okay? London, I would say it's taking also a big part of for me, the two main landings are London and Lisbon, with France on the third positions. Even there are some cable that are trying to push France. So I would say that Lisbon has been developing the termination business quite well. There is a data center, but they have quite a good network of cable landing stations. We can imagine that they have 4 cable landing stations.
Wow.
Okay, so they have Seychelles, Simbra, Sines, and Carcavelos. So it's quite a large culture on the subsea space. It's quite, West Africa is quite well served by ACE and WACS, which are the two latest country cables, 2012 and 11. And now we see to Africa coming, well, we have Equiano that will be up, I think probably next year or the following latest, but maybe next year for South Africa, Lagos and Lisbon again. And then we have to Africa coming with a massive capacity in 2024. So I think that that will be for West and Central Africa. Let's say that the Met will be a challenge. Okay, the Mediterranean will be a challenge. For North Africa, it will be a challenge. The Mediterranean is natural termination, and for East Africa is natural termination too. But for West Africa, the Strait of Gibraltar is a bad place for the submarine cables. It's not a place where you want to be because we have a lot of incidents there. So that's why the people, they go on the vertical north to Lisbon or to UK or to France.
What kind of incidents, just as a curiosity?
Well, you have a lot of infrastructures, like they go north to south, okay? So you have, it's very difficult to lay a cable east-west, and then you have a lot of tides, okay? The tides are very strong because the Met doesn't have really tides. We have 60 centimeters, and on the other side of the strait, you have 3 meters or 4 meters. So every 6 hours, you have very strong currents. So it's a challenge. You have a lot of fishing. It's not a place where you want to be.
I see. Oh, fantastic. Super interesting. I always love, of the submarine cable, how you have to take into account so many things that even span just beyond, just technology and things like that, right? So I still remember this little anecdote from the end of the 2008 2009. It was probably the price of petrol was very low, but it was increasing, and so there was a lot of oil tankers that they were like outside the UK. They were just staying there. And KPN back then was in the consortium where it was petting, this cable over there. And then essentially there was a lot of breakage of the cable because they were, going with the anchor. These ships, they were going with the anchors, deep down and breaking the cable, right? So it always strikes me how it connects with economics, social, and natural phenomenon and things like that. It's a totally fascinating, side of technology, I would say. Fantastic. So with that, I am actually finished. I don't have any more questions for you. I don't know if you have, any final points or if there is any question by anybody else. I think.
Can I ask a question? This is Costas.
Of course, Costas. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I have a question about Equiano, about whether there will be available capacities for sale through Google, or what is the business model there? I'm not really sure that we will have the option to buy capacities in this cable, or there is any other form of agreement that you should enter with Google in order to get capacities in this cable. Do the people in the panel have any information about that?
Costas, and can I ask you one thing, like to introduce yourself for our panelists? Sorry.
I'm really sorry for that. So my name is Costas Zorbadelos, and I'm currently working for Canal Plus Telecom, which is an ISP serving the French overseas territories. One such territory is La Réunion, the island in the Indian Ocean. So we do utilize a lot of submarine cables, both on the east and the west side of Africa. WAX was among them, yes. But it is a personal interest because I'm not really sure what happens with Equiano. So if there...
Okay, maybe you have to ask Google. Okay.
Yes, I have a vague idea, but...
Okay, but let's say something we can share with you. Okay, we cannot share you the details, but we can share with you. Okay, Equiano, as any other cable, has multiple fiber pairs. Okay, the OTTs, let's say this way, they own some fiber pairs, and some wholesale operators, they own some other fiber pairs. Okay, so from the fiber pairs that are owned by wholesale operators, you will be able to source capacity. Okay.
So it is a consortium. It is not Google on its
No,
own.
no. I didn't say it's a consortium. Okay. What I mean is that I told you that some fiber pairs are owned by the OTTs, and some fiber pairs are owned by wholesalers. Okay, but let's go into differentiate the consortium. Okay, because it's not mixed. I'm here. I'm not talking about Equiano. Here, what I am talking is about the consortium model. One thing is that today, until now, we were used to a consortium model of submarine cable. For example, ACE, I don't know, or WAX, if you are familiar with WAX of ACE, they are cables that they belong to many people. Okay, so you have a 3-4% of participation on the cable, and then you are able to activate capacity, and the cable belongs to a consortium of people. The new cables, they don't belong to a consortium. What they do is that you buy a fiber pair, and you do whatever you want in the fiber pair. Okay, you upgrade the fiber pair, you activate the capacity as much as you want. Before, in a consortium, when we had to share one fiber pair, we had to agree, all of us in this consortium, to upgrade the cable and to invest all together. Here, you have your own fiber pairs, and you activate whatever you want at the moment that you want. You are independent in that fiber pair. So the model of consortium is, I would say, it's going to disappear. Okay, maybe if you have a 20,000 kilometer cable, still will be there, but with these new cables with multi-fiber pairs, it's going to disappear. So you just try to identify. I cannot tell you who. Sorry, it's an NDA, but
yes,
let's
I
say
know.
that
I have one contact.
So you can source, or you can ask the people, and they will tell you who has capacity, and they will be able to provide you capacity globally.
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Fantastic. Another interesting piece of information. Thank you, Norman. I mean, I was very used to this consortium kind of, model for the subsea cables, and I didn't know. I couldn't see that there are we're going a different direction, which makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I am matching what you said with some, like when you buy dark fiber, right? So then you light it up and then you do whatever you like. But we are now, it's not terrestrial anymore, but subsea, long distance, and maybe different cost. So cool, super interesting. Any other questions from anybody? No? Any final points you, my honorable panelists, would like to make, or anything like that?
Let's just make Barcelona grow faster.
Right. I was hoping you were not saying a great again. That's great. Fantastic.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Cool. Fantastic. Then, I thank you very much for your time today. It was an absolute pleasure. I don't know if you could see even how I myself enjoyed this session. It was very informative, very nice. And we kept our informal spirit. We spoke about something, that maybe there is not that much online content, and things like that. So super duper happy of what we did tonight. And maybe in future, if we see that this session, this situation in Barcelona is dynamic, let's say, I don't know, 6 months from now, 1 year from now, we can do another session. And maybe I can also fix my mistake of this time that I didn't invite anybody, I don't know, from Equinix interaction, whatever. Maybe it would be yet another interesting, point of view to have. And so I thank you very much for your time. Thanks also for our, participants. I hope we will see you again here at the NetBCN. Yeah, happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Merry Christmas to everybody. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Bye.
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 Take care, guys.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.
Merry Christmas.
Ciao.